Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fisher Fitness Coaching Podcast. This is 20, I think, episode 20. It's been a couple of weeks because I was ill last week. I was bedridden for like 2 days. I thought I had COVID, but turns out it wasn't COVID, which is weird because my parents both had it. I saw my dad on the Saturday before I got ill, and then he was ill the day after, and then I got ill. And they both tested positive. I didn't test positive, but it was basically the flu. It's sort of the same thing, isn't it? It was a virus. It was a shit virus. I was really ill for the week, so I didn't do one last week. But I'm all better now. Well, I was saying that I'm like 80% better. I'm still got a bit of a cough, and I still sound a little bit bunged up, I think. So just bear with me on this one. So this won't be long. This will be a quick one. And it's called, what am I going to name this? How to make fat loss easier. I've got maybe 4 or 5 tips for those of you who are trying to lose body fat, who are on a diet, or who are trying to sustain a calorie deficit. These tips are going to help you make the whole journey easier, because fat loss, as you know, or if you don't know, I'm telling you now, it's simple in principle. It's easy in principle, but it's not easy to stick to. It's hard work. Like I always say, the body doesn't like being in a calorie deficit. And the only way to lose body fat is to be in a consistent calorie deficit. That's the only way. And I feel like I'd talk... Oh, someone's here. My dad just turned up. He planted some wild seed in my garden. Anyway, where was I? Changes. Oh yeah, I've completely lost where I was. So yeah, fat loss. It's easy in principle. It's not easy to actually stick to, because the body doesn't like being in a calorie deficit. The only way to lose body fat is to be in a calorie deficit. So yeah, there's no food which inherently causes fat gain. Like people think that things like pasta, bread will cause fat gain. It doesn't. It's overall calories which determines whether or not you will gain or lose body fat. So it's energy in versus energy out. And that is it. If anyone tells you otherwise, or tries to say it's because of the food you are eating, or the times you're eating the food, or because of, I don't know, whatever other rubbish you hear, it's not the case. It's because you are consuming more calories than you are burning consistently, which is causing fat gain. And that is it. Yes, some foods can determine how much energy you consume, in terms of, like, say, like certain foods can determine overall energy balance, because things like protein, for example, has a higher thermic effect. So your body will burn more calories just by digesting protein. And things like, nuts, your body doesn't actually digest or break down every single part of that food. So even though, yes, nuts are calorie dense, your body won't actually digest all the calories in the nuts. So if you start to think about it like that, yes, some foods will determine how much calories you are consuming, which will then lead to potential an increase in potential calories, because again, ultra processed foods can cause you to eat more because they're less satiating. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But it all comes down to energy in versus energy out in terms of fat loss and fat gain. So anyway, I'm going to go through 4 or 5 tips or things which will help you or help fat loss seem easier. God, this is hard work. I think I'm just really tired. A little bit still ill. I can't even speak properly. Anyway, I'll start it so I'll finish. These are the times where I just want to stop and reset and go again, but I can't be bothered to start again, to be honest. Anyway, so the first thing is activity. So getting your steps up, moving more outside. If you increase the amount of activity you do, it's going to increase the energy output, which will help you sustain or create and sustain a calorie deficit. Okay, so it's simple. Walk more. Give yourself a step count or step target and try and reach it every single day. Someone who is very active, someone who has a high active job, will have a far easier time losing body fat than someone who sits at a desk all day. So if you're someone who sits at a desk all day in an office and you're trying to lose body fat, then you will need to give yourself a step target and do what you can to reach that every single day. So move more, sit down less, increase your activity, your daily activity. That's your first tip. Okay. Second tip is drink enough water. By the way, these tips are very, very simple and it's common sense. So once you hear them, it's not groundbreaking stuff. But if you do these things, it will make your fat loss journey a lot easier. So the second thing is drink more water. A lot of the time people think, well, first of all, people don't drink enough water. Most people don't. And if you don't drink enough water, sometimes it can come across like hunger, but actually you are just thirsty. You're just dehydrated. You just need water. So make sure you're drinking enough water because you will potentially end up consuming less calories through food because you're well hydrated. So that's your second tip. Your third tip is get enough sleep. Around 7 to 9 high quality hours of sleep per night will have a huge effect on your fat loss journey, and it will benefit you massively because when you're tired, you make poor decisions, especially with food, and also when you're tired, you move less. If you move less, you're gonna reduce your energy output. And I just mentioned that you need to have a pretty high energy output if you're wanting to lose body fat and make it easier for yourself. So getting enough sleep will not only mean that you will subconsciously move more because you have more energy, you're more rested, you're more recovered, but also you will consume less calories. There's been studies to show that when people are tired, they consume more calories because, you just feel tired, you're grumpy, you just go for a high calorie snack, ultra processed, highly palatable snack because you feel like you want it. It's going to help you feel better. And it's and if your body's tired, your body will basically tell you that to eat something to give you energy because it's tired. So if you sleep more, you'll end up consuming less calories and you'll end up moving more. So again, it will help you create and sustain that calorie deficit. The other tip is getting enough protein. So I mentioned before, protein has a higher thermic effect, which means when your body digests or breaks down, oh my God, I can't speak. When your body breaks down protein, got there, it uses more calories to digest more than carbs and fats. So it has a higher thermic effect. Also, protein is very satiating, so it helps you feel full. again, what you want to do when you're trying to lose body fat is stay full as possible for as long as possible, because when you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to feel hungry, and when you feel hungry, you're going to want to eat. So high protein diet not only means that you're going to help retain muscle tissue when you are in a deficit, which is the most important thing, or one of the most important things, but also it means that you will stay fuller for longer, meaning you can sustain the calorie deficit for longer, meaning better long-term fat loss results. So protein. The other one is... What is the other one, Rich? Reducing the alcohol. Reducing your alcohol consumption. This episode's been a shit show, hasn't it? Reducing your alcohol consumption. So I don't need to really explain or go into too much detail about why reducing your alcohol consumption can help you lose body fat, and it'll help your journey seem a lot easier. One, because alcohol contains calories. 1 gram of alcohol contains 9 calories. So even if you're having vodka straight, yes, people think there's no calories in there because it's clear, but that's rubbish because it's still quite strong. So it's still going to contain calories. So there are people out there who try to lose body fat, try to lose weight, try to create and sustain a calorie deficit, but they go out every weekend and get smashed on alcohol, obviously. Get smashed, basically. So not only are you consuming loads of calories via alcohol, but you are also hindering your progress by being hungover the next day. And what do you do when you're hungover? You move less. You end up just laying in the sofa, laying in bed. You end up eating more because you're hungover. So you have a pizza, you have a fry up, you eat, you snack, you have delicious, tasty foods to make yourself feel better. So you're consuming a shitload more calories than you should be, and you think, yeah, it's just one night, but that's a good couple of thousand calories easily. When you drink, you don't really care about what you're doing, so you drink more than you think you're drinking. You eat more than you think you're eating. You snack. Your inhibitions go out the window. So reduce your alcohol consumption right down. I'm not saying you stop drinking. You can still drink in moderation. You can have a glass of wine here or two. You can have a night out every so often, but not every weekend. And no, don't drink, like, drinking wine or beer every night. It's just ridiculous. Like, I don't see the point in it. If you're trying to lose fat, the first thing you should do is just stop drinking alcohol. If you can't, then you may have an issue. Because, like, why would you use up valuable calories on alcohol? It makes no sense. You're just drinking. It doesn't fill you up. It doesn't offer you any nutrition. It's using up valuable, precious calories, which you need to use for food, for nutrients, to make you feel full. So that's probably the most important one, reducing your alcohol to nothing, to like next to nothing. Yes, you can lose body fat while drinking alcohol, but it makes it very, very difficult for you. You're making it very difficult for yourself. So, reducing alcohol. Basically, any liquid calories, you need to cut down liquid calories completely. Pointless. Like milkshakes, coffees, fruit juices, alcohol, milk. You need to have let's say for you to be in a deficit, you have 2,000 calories per day, for argument's sake. Why would you use 500 of them per day as a liquid, like fruit juices and Cokes and stuff? That means you've only got 1,500 left, give or take, for food. And you're already going to be fairly hungry on 2,000 calories per day. Some of you are anyway. So why would you make it harder for yourself by replacing the food calories with liquid or drink calories? So that's probably the most important thing. The most important one is cutting out alcohol. So if I've gone through them all, sleep, I've gone through alcohol, protein, activity, water. Hang on, I've got a few notes here. Let me just have a quick scan. Oh yeah, this is a big one. I've missed out 2. So yeah, the next one is increase your vegetable intake. Increasing your vegetables means that you're going to get the nutrients you need. They are very satiating and they contain very little calories. So, of course, it makes sense to increase your vegetable intake because you're going to feel fuller without using up your calorie allowance, whether it's daily or weekly, however you want to do it. So, increasing your vegetable intake. And the final one is don't restrict foods. It might sound a bit stupid, but if you restrict certain foods, you're going to make the whole process a lot shitter than it actually is. Losing body fat, being in a calorie deficit is not fun, and it's hard enough. So why would you want to make it harder by cutting out certain food groups? So my advice is to not cut out any food groups, even like the chocolate and crisps and stuff. Still have it. Still give yourself permission to eat whatever foods you want. Just be aware that some of these foods contain a lot more calories than others. Some of these foods contain a lot less nutrients than others. So it's up to you to make these decisions for yourself. If you're tracking, then pre-track what you're going to have in the day or the day after. So if you fancy a bag of crisps in the evening, put it in your tracking app so it's already there. Just be sensible. It's not a good idea to go and buy a big bag of crisps and smash the whole lot. It's not a good idea to go and buy a big bar of chocolate and smash the whole lot, because that's just a bit stupid. Yes, it's still doable. You can still lose body fat by doing that. But again, you're going to make it harder for yourself. This is all about making the journey easy for you. So don't restrict foods. Eat what you want. Just don't eat as much as you want. It's all about you having or building autonomy and making decisions for yourself. And this is why I never make or build meal plans for people. I've got example meal plans people can look at with certain calories, but I never sit there and make a meal plan for someone, because they will never, ever stick to it, ever. Because what if on a Friday in the evening, I've given this person a jack potato with a bit of cheese and a salad and some tuna, but they go out for a curry with the mates? They're not going to stick to it. So it's about educating people about nutrition, the basics of nutrition, so they have autonomy, they make decisions for themselves. When they start to make decisions for themselves, the whole process becomes a lot easier, and their fat loss journey becomes a lot easier and more successful long term. So yeah, that's all of it, I think. Be active, lots of vegetables, lots of protein, don't restrict foods. Okay, last one, try a weekly calorie allowance. So this is something I give to my clients as an option. I not only give my clients their daily calorie allowance, but I give them a weekly calorie allowance as well. So with the weekly calorie allowance, they can have higher calorie days and lower calorie days, depending on what they have planned for the week and depending on how hungry they feel in the day. So for example, if your daily allowance is 2,000, then your weekly allowance is 14,000. So you've got 14,000 calories to use up in a week. It's up to you how you use them. This can work really well for people, and this doesn't work so well for everyone. So it just depends on the individual. You can try it. If it doesn't work, then go for your daily allowance. It just helps people bank. I don't like using the term banking calories, but saving calories for higher calorie days when they go out for a meal, for example, or they know they're going to have a pizza at home. It just allows more flexibility. It means that the whole process just makes it a little bit easier. Again, it all comes down to that food restriction. If I've given someone 1,800 calories per day every day, then you're gonna find it hard to, get a pizza and a couple of pints in there as well as your other meals. Do you know what I mean? But if you had a weekly allowance, you can consume slightly less leading up to Friday, meaning you've got a lot more in the bank for that Friday. So you're still within a overall calorie deficit if you're going by the weekly allowance. So that's the last one. Don't restrict foods. Try a weekly calorie allowance. Drink lots of water. And don't drink so much alcohol. Don't waste precious calories on liquids. That's what I've got here. So yeah, hope that helps. I hope this wasn't too much of a... I don't know, can't think of the word. You can tell I'm not right, can't you? Maybe it was COVID. I don't know if you've had COVID before, but the first time I had it, my brain went a bit funny. I couldn't really think straight, and my memory went. And I guess it kind of feels the same, but I'm pretty sure it's just flu. But yeah, I'm struggling to string a sentence together by the sound of it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there before I make a fool out of myself. Any questions on any of this, please let me know. Please share the podcast to your stories. I'd really appreciate it. Send it over to your friends, family. If you have any questions on coaching, then always just fill out the application form, the link, and get a call booked in. Or you can just send me a DM on Instagram. We'll have a chat on there. Or you can send me a WhatsApp. And we'll have a chat, see if you're the right fit for the team. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Have a good one, and I will speak to you all next week.